As a divine anime connoisseur, connoisseur, and one of the most popular and influential people on YouTube, as well as a billionaire playboy philanthropist, I believe it is my job to instill the utmost class upon my supporters. And to try to make you guys the picturesque visual of both class and knowledge, which is why I want to talk to you about a show that is about big buff men beating the shit out of each other with summonable spirits used to fight for them. Those same big buff men doing questionable things at best with other big buff men, and other big buff men swirling around cherries in their mouth as fast as Usain Bolt running a 100-meter dash. And if that's too many big buff men for you to handle, you clearly are not ready to be a JoJo's fan, because JoJo's fans will run even faster than Kakyoin's cherry in order to find an unsucked cock. So this is long overdue, as I have had this video in my video making itinerary for a long time. Always putting it off because talking about 6'5" men challenging each other in a battle of wits, intelligence, and strength sounds like it belongs on a basketball channel, not a niche micro celebrities channel who talks about anime titties in order to grow. But I'm finally doing it today because I have nothing else to do besides sitting on my ass playing video games. Let me start off by saying the most synonymously used line in these type of JoJo review videos. JoJo's is, in other words, bizarre. But seriously, after watching over 200 anime and seeing a lot, and I mean a lot, of the generic shonen shows, JoJo's was absolutely a breath of fresh air and at the same time toxic air. Because my first impression of this show came from the fan base. And if you know anything about the JoJo's fan base, you know they aren't exactly the most welcoming and nice fandom to talk to for the most part. And the moment I knew I wasn't watching any old shonen flick was the moment I saw William Zeppeli absolutely deck an unprovoked frog. Like, bro, that frog was just chilling there. Why you gotta squash him like that? But I want to keep adding on to the fan base, because even though a lot of the fandom online can be a bit annoying with their flamboyant love of JoJo's, Araki has formed one of the most devoted, fun, united, creative, and yes, bizarre fan bases in all of fiction. A fan base that makes fun of itself, takes pride, and even laughs at the fact that the most prevalent meme to come out of their series in a long time is that their fan base likes to hunt for unsucked penis. JoJo's fans are also extremely creative and have brought amazing edits that I couldn't do if I tried for a lifetime. Art that is so good looking with made up powers to go along with it, and some of the best cosplays I have ever seen. The JoJo's community is very respectable to me the more that I have seen of it, because of how much they care about JoJo's and how much they want it to spread, which is very sweet, but also concerning, because the way they push this anime down your throat makes you question if they want a bigger community or world domination. You may be asking, didn't you say that the fan base is really toxic? This sounds great. And yes, the JoJo's fan base is one of the coolest and most toxic fan bases I've ever seen. While I think it's awesome that you love the series and think it's great, no series is perfect no matter how much I love it. And JoJo's fans will not accept that there are issues in JoJo's. I have seen this in the JoJo's community more than any other community. They will not accept any other opinion besides their own, and hate on you if you call JoJo's anything less than a masterpiece. The JoJo's fan base reminds me more of a patriotic, gun-toting American who calls America the greatest country on earth with no faults, rather than a group of people who just like a show. But the flamboyance and pride they have for an art that they love is precisely what I think is so fascinating about the JoJo's fan base. It is almost like they take the energy and craziness from the show into their arguments, which is actually pretty funny. So, like with any other fan base, you take the good with the bad and just marvel and appreciate how great the series actually is, which is what I want to get into next. So if you haven't watched JoJo's, I'll give you a basic idea of what the series is about. Per season or part of JoJo's, there is a new main character with some part of their name having JoJo in it. For example, there's Jonathan Joestar, Joseph Joestar, Jotaro Kujo, Jolene Kujo, Johnny Joestar, and okay, this one's a little silly, Giorno Giovanna. I mean, I guess it works, Mr. Jojo, and I guess there's another one I missed. What the fuck? I mean, I understand the other JoJo's names, and I guess I understand Giorno too, but how is that JoJo? Oh. It's a mistranslation. Okay. Anyway, to get into the main premise of JoJo's, I must first explain the power system, which is one of the most nuanced, well thought out, and overall cool power systems in anime. In parts 1 to 2, the main power system they use is called Hamon, which is also referred to as a ripple. Basically, it is the use of controlled breathing that fills the user with sunlight energy, which can be used on monsters that kill people. Wait. did JoJo's just steal from fucking Demon Slayer? Well, whatever, I'm on to you though. Jonathan Joestar is the original JoJo who uses this technique, which was taught to him by William Zeppeli, who is also the guy who socked the shit out of a frog, so I don't know if he's just teaching a technique or wanting to become a serial animal abuser. There is also a thing called a stone mask that can turn anyone into a hotter version of themselves with sharp teeth. Oh, and I guess it makes you a vampire with speed and strength amplifiers. I mean, that's nice, I guess, too. But I left the best and strongest technique in the entire JoJo series last. Frankly, it is probably the strongest technique in anime, which isn't a joke. I am, of course, talking about the most OP ability in fiction, the Thunder Cross Split attack. There is no escaping it. It is inevitable. You just have to pray that it doesn't do too much damage to you. After finishing part 1, I reflected upon what I just watched. Seeing a talking, walking, and attacking head that is still fully functional was kinda weird. The stylistic choices, the art used by the animators, the iconic JoJo sign that appears on the screen, the amazing English, the notorious Kono dia de, the re, and everything about this show was just different than I had ever seen. Everything about JoJo's was weird, and gave me the idea to make this video. Of course, this continued into the part with the best intro and JoJo's character in the series, part 2, where our main protagonist is Joseph Joestar, a genius yet idiotic kid who is the grandchild of Jonathan. This part has some of the most wacky and hilarious moments in JoJo's, while also having some of the most serious and sad moments. First of all, Joseph is almost the complete opposite of Jonathan. Where Jonathan is a reserved, polite, proper saint of a man, Joseph is loudmouth, impolite, and a downright rude, impatient asshole. This is also why he is one of the most beloved characters in the series. He is absolutely hilarious and brought us some of the best moments in the series, like the nice clip after peeping on Lisa, the black ink pasta scene, and of course the Nigarondayo smoky scene. This season, we also are introduced to Pillar Men, which are stone men who are extremely powerful and weak to only Hamon. Isn't that convenient? But I want to seriously say that we are introduced to one of the most beautiful women in anime, with class, grace, and a lot of plot. I'm of course talking about Josephine, who sadly only made one appearance in the show and left, and I wish she would have come back for one more episode. Just please do it. I love you. I miss you. Now I'm going to be talking about the most well-known, most talked about, and most JoJo's part out there. This part is so over the top and has scenes where Joseph and Muhammad Avdol look like they are doing each other because of the work of an enemy stand user. This is probably my least favorite part because of how repetitive it is, but I love the impact it had on the anime community. Even if it did spark a bunch of shitty memes from horrible anime meme pages, part 3 is where stands are introduced and there are some absolutely wacky ones. My two favorites being a literal electrical outlet that increases a person's magnetism, and a mirror, which tricks people into thinking they are in an immense and inescapable heat. Both are disposed of rather easily once the tricks were figured out, but the scene where Joseph thinks everyone around him is going nuts due to the heat is hilarious. Even though this part dragged on, we are still introduced to some of the best memes and moments in JoJo's, and there are genuinely some really cool stands with awesome powers like Dio's time stop ability, Silver Chariot, and Star Platinum, to name a few. The memes that came out of this part are also some of the strongest in the series. Oh, you're approaching me, Joseph's oh no's, and anytime Dio is on the screen is really top tier and memeable. Not to mention how awesome, well written, and maybe a little ass pulley the Dio vs Jotaro fight was, in a final battle that was as epic as it was goofy, where somehow flying and floating in the air is introduced when it had never been done before. A fight where the voice actors put up Shaq and Kobe numbers with how amazing and skillful their performance was, through all the maniacal laughter, stop time, and Dio monologues to himself about how absolute and how much of a god he is. There was an awesome and hype fight that accompanied it. A fight that took hundreds of chapters of build up to get to, that dragged on so badly, but the end product was worth the wait because it was an epic fight that is unlike any other anime. And also the cherry on top is when Dio grabs a literal road roller and slams it on Jotaro in stop time while screaming, "Roto Roller!" This is the first part where Araki finally had his sights set on how he wanted his series to be structured. There was a lot of experimenting in this part, which is why I think it's all over the place. The goofiness and otherworldly level of screaming displayed by these bodybuilder men is just what JoJo's is all about, and this part displayed what this series is about more than any other. So if you watch the first episodes of part 3 and don't like it, I do not see you getting into later JoJo's parts. Part 4. I am sure this is the part you were waiting on me to cover because of how different its premise and more importantly its main antagonist is from regular JoJo's villains. Yoshikage Kira is a really weird character with some definite insane moments, but he feels like he could be real. All he wants is to live his life in peace, but the problem with that is that Kira is also a serial murderer. The way his character is written feels very lifelike. Even the moment where he talked about getting an erection from the Mona Lisa as a kid was definitely weird, but it felt like it could be real. Where I couldn't say the same about almost every other main villain's goal of ruling the world or causing the human race to go extinct. Now, as for the premise of the series, the other seasons were basically to learn this power and defeat the big bad. Diamond is Unbreakable has a distinct and very different route. It chooses to play out a plot of a murder mystery. Now, of course, it has the annoying repetitive stand users that I'm not a big fan of. Specifically, there is one stand user I really didn't like, which was a literal fucking rat. How they had that much trouble still pisses me off. It was a rat. It was an actual rat with a machine gun. Why are you struggling against a rodent so badly? Jojo could have just stopped time and took him out easily. I just don't get it. Whatever though. Stuff like this is why I made this video idea, because there is literally no other anime where you see a rat wreck a family that badly. Actually, never mind. The most JoJo moment in Diamond is Unbreakable is also one of the funniest scenes. The notorious "let's kill the hoe bitch" line is one of my favorite lines in anime. Diamond is Unbreakable and Stardust Crusaders both show the two extremes in JoJo's, one series being a more serious tone with some goofy moments, but overall is a murder mystery with cool powers. Then the other side is just goofy moments with the boys that has very little super serious moments in it. The last part I will do a breakdown of is the last part in JoJo's that I have completely finished, being Golden Wind, which can be called JoJo's crime syndicate with how many drugs, murders, and gangs are in this part. I'm surprised the main villain didn't end up just being Pablo Escobar with a power that just allows him to travel underground fast. Wait, never mind, that's actually just a power from part 5. From face licking to drinking pee to literally switching bodies, Golden Wind has all the weird and bizarre funny joke stuff that we love about JoJo's, including some of the coolest character designs in anime. They are all extremely creative and suited to the character perfectly, which is something Araki routinely pulls off. Also, last thing, one of my favorite rappers, Biggie, was a stand in this part, which I thought was really cool. As someone who didn't watch or see anything about JoJo's in their life, listen to my video, they would definitely think I was just a whack job rambling about nonsensical fantasies in my head, but nope, I'm just a JoJo's fan, hate to break it to you. After rereading and editing this script, I think it's funny that every part besides the first two just sound like they are all completely separate anime. It speaks to the mind of Araki, and I respect him a lot for it. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that having scenes where grown men drink piss, abuse frogs, get horny for art, shout goofy lines, commit more animal abuse against rats, and kill the hoes, bitch. All of this is what makes JoJo's one of the coolest anime ever, and what makes JoJo's bizarre. I mean weird. God damn it. Thank you guys for watching my video. This video has been in my head for years, and I am glad I finally got to talk to you about it. If you want more videos like this where I just spew random bullshit, which is basically my typical video. Anyway, if you'd like more content, leave a like and get me to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. See ya. Thank you.